Hello and welcome to the Whet podcast. I am your host, Brenda. With me today for my next Chef Spotlight series is Chef Danny Ganem of a Coral Gables restaurant you have all heard me talk about over and over and over again about. Fiola, shocker. Yay! Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
It's
you.
an honor to have you here.
No, thank you for joining me in the hot seat today. I hope you're ready.
Ready to rock and roll.
Ready to rock and roll. Okay, La Sarte in Spain, Bourbon Steak, BLT Steak, Restaurant Michael Schwartz, The Betsy, Little Palm Island, Fiola. I'm sure I missed a couple in between there. We have so much to discuss.
A lot
to discuss. So let's get to it. First things first, are you truly from the 305? Born, raised, high school?
Born, raised. So I was born, raised in Miami. Then my parents were diplomats, so we moved to Chile when I was 4 years old.
Are you
then,
Chileno?
My dad is Chilean and my mom is Panamanian.
So you have no Cuban?
No
Why do I thought you were Cuban?
And then just man, so many
It's
years.
the Miami thing.
The Miami thing.
You're an honorary Cuban.
Correct. No, so my father's side, they're Palestinian, Spanish, German, and some other mix, depending on what Ancestry.com says. And then my mother's side, they're Panamanian / Basque from the Basque region of Spain.
Okay.
So we lived in Chile for many years, and then I came back in seventh grade to Miami, and then went to Arvida Middle School. Mm-hmm. And actually, I'm the first ninth grade class of Coral Reef Senior High School. So that was a spectacular school, and I know for the 10th graders and for some people at that time it wasn't the whole high school experience because we only had 2 classes.
Oh, I get it, right.
But
so
it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, so Miami. All right, I love that. You have done extensive travel throughout the world, yet you're back here with us in Miami. What makes Miami different?
Well, so I was with Martin in 2007. Then came back to Miami for a small time because I was going to go back to Spain, and I had everything programmed. I was going to be working at El Bulli's, Hacienda Benasusa in Seville. That was
total cheesecake factory.
That
moment,
was yeah. After that, I had a stage with Michel Bras for another 6 months. And then
a stage.
Yeah.
Wow. You mean you were gonna go learn and work for free?
Work for free.
What a concept.
Yeah. Kids nowadays, they don't understand it. People don't understand it at all.
It's a whole other podcast.
Yes. Another world. But as a day, I was a stagiaire, and you learn so much. But it depends of what you want. That's what the stages are meant for. You make it your own. So this discipline, 3 Michelin star discipline, and then and the goal was for me, after all that, after Michel Bras, go back to Mugaritz. So, but then came back to Miami and met Anita, my wife. And then since then I haven't moved from Miami.
Women, Harry will have a similar story if you talk to him. All these things he was going to do, but then he met me. Ooh.
Yes.
But it's a good thing, right?
It's a good thing.
Right, Hubs? Right?
And then, I used to work with Michael Mina in Aqua in San Francisco.
That's right.
And then it was the Bernardin of the West. And of course I kept in touch with a couple friends, and then someone that was at that time corporate reached out through my email address. I never changed it, so it's still the same email address since 19.
Danny G Rocks at AOL.
no, Hotmail.
That's even worse. You've got mail.
No, AOL, Netgear.
Oh my gosh. So wait, we are kind of jumping ahead. Let's go back a little bit. What was the pivotal moment when things clicked and you decided this was going to be your calling? Before stage, before 3 stars, because you just didn't go there.
No, correct.
Right.
So when due to my of course everybody says the grandparents and everything, but actually I used to cook with my grandfather Arab food, and then My grandmother always used to bake. My mother used to bake at that time. Now she doesn't do it, and then my we were watching one night after coming back from high school. I think I was 15 at that time. Just watching, Food Network, and you see Emerald, doing his thing, going bam, bam, and the whole thing,
And there really weren't that many chefs at the time doing it on TV.
Correct. It was only Emerald that, actually was like prime time, Food Network. I think it was like 7 or 8 o'clock or something like that. And then I told my mom, hey, listen, I like this. I like that. My mom was like, listen, what you see right there,
right?
This is not the truth.
But what the showmanship part of it attracted you, or the actual food, or everything?
The food, the cooking. I was like very intrigued by it, and then of course the whole cooking. Then I started cooking a little bit with my mom, and then again my mom, she's like, listen, you're gonna be working holidays, birthdays, and forget about New Year's, Christmas, all this stuff, which 100% she was right. And then my dad's gonna hate this, but so my dad, I told my dad, hey, listen, this is what I want to do, and I said, nah, you're gonna be working in Central Park, which is nothing wrong about it, selling hot dogs in Central Park. You're not gonna get to where you want to be. I'm like, listen, I really like it. I think I'm gonna get into it. Then a friend of my parents, they came into the house one day, and he's like, listen, so I hear that you like to cook. Let's cook together. And the guy was very well versed in cooking.
In other words, you kept on with the tiki despite all the hate.
Everything.
You were like, this is what I want. Bam, this is what I want.
It was nuts. If you start feeling it, you start feeling that this is for you, then you know what? Go for it. But then, of course, don't be afraid later on.
Because when you're there, you're
like, oh, shoot, this is...
Careful what you wish for.
Yes. And then, but this guy, he showed me how to do chicken, and we did the chicken. But then the coolest part was, so we did this chicken, but we deboned it inside out.
Mm-hmm.
So we deboned it inside out without doing any incisions of the chicken. So from inside out, we took out the entire bone, and then we stuffed it. Stuffed the chicken, spinach, mozzarella. And it was like this beautiful, like, stuffed chicken that looked exactly like a whole chicken, but stuffed. So I was like, you know what? This is it. This is for me. And then my parents, they were diplomats. We moved a little bit more because after high school, I went to college in Chile. I played rugby over there in college. But then I grabbed a job over there after school at a sushi restaurant as a server. And of course, I used to bother the chef, and I really want to teach me how to do some sushi rolls. I try in my house, and the whole thing. Like, I was like always like leave me alone. One day the prep cook didn't show up. He's like, hey,
I can do it.
Come on over. You want to do it? I'm like, yeah, for sure. So since then, that's it. And then I went to culinary school over there, and I was going to this fine dining Czechoslovakian restaurant, and the chef used to be like, what are you doing? You're American. What are you doing in Chile?
Oh, right.
And like, go back to the States. That's where you're going to make some money. Here you're not going to do anything. You're going to work with some really good chefs. And I was like, you know what? She's right. So I was looking into Le Cordon Bleu in San Francisco, but of course San Francisco is freaking expensive. Went to Le Cordon Bleu in Orlando. In Orlando,
is that still around?
No, Le Cordon Bleu, yeah, it's all closed.
They're all closed. Yeah.
They sold the pretty beautiful dream. Right. That was a way to bring in people, and of course they got some litigation issues, and they shut down everything. Mm-hmm. It was big.
Like Art Institute, they had the same.
Yeah, correct. And then over there in Orlando, got to work with Norman at Norman's over there in at the Ritz-Carlton, and used to have another externship at Disney, at Jico at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, So I was pretty busy all the time from going to school, going to Norman's, on my days off. I used to go to work at Gico. So it was all about that experience. I try to like maximize everything. And then I got my stage or my internship at Aqua in San Francisco.
So you ended up in San Francisco anyway.
Well, yes. Well, San Francisco was just crazy expensive. There,
yeah, still is.
and I was getting paid $6 an hour.
Right. Yikes. Yeah.
And then yes, of course, and had to leave San Francisco, and then moved to Panama to be with my mom. My mom was at that time, she was living over there, and worked at some really cool restaurants. But it was the main thing was about like trying to be a little bit more with my mom. But of course, I was working all the time. But there was this really cool, like scene growing over there. But the flavors was something that really like attached to me. The Latin flavors, Caribbean flavors, that Central American flavors that Panama's also used to be part of Colombia, so also you have all that cuisine, also a melting pot of African, Afro-Antillana, that's how they call it, pre-Colombian.
I've never heard that term in my life.
It's pretty cool.
Afro-Antillana?
Yes. You have some really cool spices and also like a lot of
that's a restaurant
coconut
concept for Miami. If I ever saw one.
Pretty cool.
You heard it here first, folks. No, really, that's interesting. That would fly here.
Delicious. Then of course going, then working over there, worked in some hotels and worked with some restaurants. Actually, a lot of got a couple of guests from those restaurants back in Panama that they showed up like, Danny, what are you doing here? We're like, yes, I'm here. So a lot of fun anecdotes that we talk over here with some guests that come to Fiola, that they actually from Panama's very small, so everybody over there. But and then moved to Bolivia. Was there for a year. Then Bolivia was imagine Peru, but and not to offend anybody, but without a sea. So like Peruvian cuisine, but all about the mountains, all about that the land in a way. So you go to the market, hundreds and hundreds of potatoes, different potatoes that you see, and you're like, shoot, like you get to like really, really, really see like ugly fruit, but you pop it in your mouth and it's like an explosion of flavor, like the real flavor.
Just like what we have here at Sedanos.
Literally.
Nada que envidiarle.
Yeah, this beautiful huge strawberry that don't taste like anything. But it was nuts. And then of course, it was I used to go to the market, grab the chickens, and that was my first time grabbing a whole chicken, plucking the chickens, cleaning the chicken from inside out, cooking it, and
killing the chicken.
No, killing. Actually, you know what? That's one of the things that I don't like. The whole like people say, oh, let's go to hunt and fish and everything. I just don't. I don't like the act of killing something, or that's just not me.
We just want to eat them.
Yeah, cook it good.
You want to cook it? I just want to eat it.
Butchering everything, no problem. But that's already. I didn't do the act.
Right.
But Bolivia was a cool place, and it was and again, one of my favorite dishes over there is ranga ranga. It's like a tripe dish, but with like the spices, a little bit spicy also, different types of potatoes. Spectacular. Like for me, if I can have that dish again, that'll be spectacular. But at my house I can't do it because the smell of tripe, my wife will kill me. So, but after that I had that that urge. I'm like, you know what? I've been doing this, but I really wanna. For me, it was always like when I went into school, it was learn the chefs. Want to be working for the best. Want to be one day, hopefully I can work with Ducats. Hopefully I can work with like some of the like Robuchon. At that time, we had, of course, French Laundry was popping in California, so of course I wanted to go there. Alinea also, like in 2005, was also opening, so there was a lot of options at that time. But I wanted to go into to literally get that Basque, cuisine, which we're
Part of your heritage.
Part of the heritage, and of course Martin Berazategui, it was always in my mind. Martin, everybody was saying, which one, and I did my research, and at that time, of course, there was no phones, no iPhones,
good internet,
no good internet.
Yeah.
But I was
the modem was like,
yeah, you were doing back in the days, just to download something, it was just a pain in the neck. But Martin was the place that everybody was talking about. Then Mugaritz was kind of like the newer end. But that was like, I needed to go there, so I started sending resumes,
letters, faxes,
letters, everything, and then I was like,
dinosaurs,
then Michelle Bra, and I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna go and submerge myself into that, and be there for 2 years. So I had everything ready to go. I had I have some couple letters from like back of those days. I think they had in Hotmail. I haven't seen.
You still have that email address?
Yeah.
You do?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
It's still there. And then sometimes, I just want to erase every single email address because I have like 300 every single day. But Martin was just such an experience. And my friends, they were like, hey, you know what? If you really want to learn, save money because you won't be getting paid, And that was the best thing. When I was in San Francisco, I went to do stages at Gary Danko, at Campton Place when Daniel Hume was over there, and then Campton Place.
I love Gary Danko.
Gary Danko was spectacular. I took my dad over there for one time.
And it's pretty casual. Like it's not what nuts. Right? It's weird because it's casual. It's almost like comfort eats. But it's still fine dining, but they do it as a tasting menu.
Yeah.
And that cheese cart.
Very classic. Oh, yes, the cheese cart was. I remember that one.
Yes, they still do it. It's amazing.
Yeah. I haven't been there since 2005, I think that I went, but it was spectacular. And Aqua was just crazy. But finally got everything together. Went to Spain. And working at a 3-star is something different, which not too many chefs get to do that. Working at a 3 Michelin star restaurant it's another world. The organization that's in there about the discipline is just, and the treatment wasn't the one that you will get nowadays.
Right.
Back in the days it was just rough.
Pan to the head.
Rough.
To do it right.
And of course in and the Basque also, we're a little bit on the tough-headed, you can say, or hard-headed, and also, want things this way is gonna be this way for the rest of your life, and they are, like they say in Spanish, Vasco Bruto, so it's like
militant, very
militant, and then what also in Spain is a little bit more. You curse a little bit more, so yeah. We used to have some.
Cursing in Spanish is just much better.
Yeah,
Side note.
It's sometimes it's not like like as offensive, but it's still.
But it's much more emotional to curse in Spanish.
Yes. Yeah.
Side note for our listeners that don't speak Spanish, so I get it.
But as a day, it was nuts. And then I worked over there in the pastry station, worked in the fish station, which those are the things that I really like. And then also after that, it was like, okay, I have like 1 month where I can just go and I need to go back to Miami just to get my, you only have 6 months of a tourist visa. So right. Go in and out, and then don't be illegal in Spain, right. For an American there. So we went over there, and then that's how, Anita and I we met, and then out of nowhere, a friend of mine, emailed me from Aqua. Said, hey, we're opening. Where are you? Oh, I'm actually back in Miami.
Oh, for bourbon.
So, Bourbon Steak, at that time, was like the best restaurant in Miami. It was just the kitchen itself. It was just spectacular. It was just nuts. Imagine 2 rationales at that time, thermal circulators on the grill side. So for me, it was like, wow, this is just the experience that I wanted to do. Be at a brand new restaurant, and
That was 07, 08?
07.
07, yeah.
07. That's when we actually opened November 07, and then it was Andrew Rothschild, the executive chef of the restaurant, and the chefs and the cooks that were there, they were like militant. All the guys that were there, they just wanted to be the best. So it was the same mindset that I wanted to do, was work for the best, one day be the best. That was the goal. And for me was, of course, Michael Mina was there, but the whole process of opening up the restaurant, that's something that I had never seen after that.
But they also brought to Miami the service aspect of it.
Yes.
Which I found, I landed on Bourbon Steak completely by mistake. Like just, not mistake, but just like I was at the mall, we were hungry, we actually saw an ad that they had at the mall, Ventura Mall, and I didn't want to eat anything at the mall, so we're like, let's try this place. And we showed up in like shorts and just whatever. But we left there blown away by the service, and then the time, just like long story short, the second time we went, they remembered that I didn't like, because the first time they brought macaroni and cheese with broccoli. Oh. But it doesn't say broccoli on the menu. Yes. It just says mac and cheese. Now I eat it. But back then I was, a little bit more of a finicky eater. I mean, not a finicky eater, but broccoli, my mac, no. So I remember when they presented me with the mac and cheese, I said out loud, I was like, ew, broccoli? It's not on the menu. It doesn't say that. So fine, they made me a whole new batch just for me without the broccoli. And then the second time we went back and we placed an order, they said, first of all, welcome back. And they said, those people. We were much better dressed this time. And then when we ordered and we said, and a side of mac and cheese, the waiter looked up and said, without broccoli. And I was like, wait, what? What just happened? Because Correct. I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to be that person. And he said it. So then it became this thing every time we went. So that had never happened. It's such a little detail, yes. right? That they remembered that we didn't like that. And just like they made a note of it. And I don't know how long it was between that first and second visit for them to know, okay, they made notes. This is a repeat guest. And besides the service throughout dinner, which is spectacular, as you know.
Yeah, bourbon at that time. And I think, of course, made great friends, and lifelong friends now. Gabe Fenton, he was a corporate sous chef at that time, and he was on the station with us. There was a lot of good chefs that came out from that kitchen.
I love him. I'm a big fan. Big fan. He just got promoted to, I forget the title.
Culinary director or something like that, I think.
Yeah, culinary director. Yes, so he has like 20 cooks under him now or something.
He's well deserved.
So deserving, yeah.
He's one of the best, and then he was showing us how to cook, and then how to make sure that everything was perfect. And it was like the first time that someone took their time to teach and do it the right way. Like,
I'm not surprised to hear that.
And Gabe was like that person that actually you saw things over there in Spain, but you have 30 stagiairs, and out of those 30, it depends on what you want to learn. And then depends on that person, sometimes, they just, everybody has that what to do. And in Spain, I got to prove that I can do more than just do one thing. Many people, they just do that one thing for the rest of the 6 months, and that's it.
Right.
But Bourbon Steak at that time, the quality of cooks and the corporate chefs that they were there they were all like militant and laser focused. You had Anthony Karen, the executive corporate chef for Michael Mina. He's now the I don't know. He's 800 Degree Pizza. 800 Degree Pizza was bought by SLS or something. But Anthony Karen was such a bookworm and knew exactly what to do with every single thing and you learn from the chef. Nuts. Then you had Sean O'Toole. He used to work for Ducasse and work for Robuchon. So you had all these people that they had worked for all these spectacular chefs. And then you had all the other sous chefs and corporate chefs. And you had, at that time, I don't know if you heard of the restaurant Red Medicine.
No.
Right now he has Vesper and Meteora in LA. Yeah. So Jordan Can was the corporate pastry sous chef at that time, and he is very laser focused, and he's not gonna talk to everybody. But then I started talking to him about my experience with Mugaritz and Berazategui, and we bonded at that time.
He warmed up a bit.
So we were talking about food, and he worked for, again, Alinea, French Laundry. He had the pedigree, and so that was the beginnings of the fine dining in Miami.
Let's break for a second and tell the listeners, because I know we always talk about. Well, I always talk about fine dining and our obsession, and chefs look up to these other chefs. And what is the importance of, just in a nutshell? I know it's a loaded question, but a Ducasse. Or a Keller, or a
Norman Van Aken. Norman Van Aken.
What is the weight that carries, the example that they set in fine dining, and why you have chefs like yourselves or the up and coming. You're just talking about Robuchon and the greatness that is.
Correct.
Because I feel like a lot of times I'll say something like that, and people are like, "Who cares? They don't understand. Who cares if this person worked here?" It matters, but why? So you say it in your educated way.
And it matters. Something that.
Like you talk about pedigree.
The pedigree that where you have worked, it adds to who you are. It adds to that DNA, what you do, how things are done, how you move in the kitchen, how your swag throughout and also your knowledge. By working with some of the best is, you also learn about the back, the past of what the kitchen is. You ask about a couple of young cooks right now. You ask them about Antoine Carême, Escoffier. You go into Alain Chapelle. Then you start asking about Paul Bocuse. Paul Bocuse is a little bit more known, but Alain Chapelle was the chef. He just wasn't as marketed as Paul Bocuse. But many of us, or many chefs, they say Alain Chapelle was a chef, at that time. Then you go into the Georges Blanc, the Trois Gras brothers, and of course you go into Michel Gerard, and you go and so on. Then you start seeing that family tree, and then you start seeing how every single one has been gotten to be the best because they've known the past. Ducasse, Robuchon, and of course you have, that's just the big ones in that everybody should know at least. But it's something that every cook at least should know that part, that if you want to be one of the best, then you learn also about Italians and Spanish, and the Italians, you have Marchesi, which changed the Italian ways like Arsac did for Spain. Subicana, Arsac, and also Arguiñones. Those guys, they change everything. They set it up for us for now.
You mean you can just graduate culinary school and be on TV?
That's that's the at least right now, the good thing is that there's not so many culinary schools.
True.
That
it might be even worse. They just want to be on TV.
Correct. Everybody want to be on TV. So sad thing is that we're getting screwed right now with the market, with the workforce. But and again, it's something that you have to like learn, and that's how you become who you become later on. And for me, I've been blessed to have a word on the Norman, which he had the New World cuisine. He had the Michael Mina with California cuisine, Laurent Turandel, which my mentor. He's I bother him that he's like my Yoda of the cooking world. Then of course, then you have I worked also with Christoph Belanca, then Michael Schwartz. He showed me. Michael showed me the way of going into the farms, respecting the local produce. Getting that touch with the guys that are really like busting their butt every single day, so you can have some beautiful ingredients in front of your table. Michael showed me that, and it's something that at the end of the day, every single chef gives you that stamp or that seal. You can say like the army have the
stripes.
The
You're in your stripes.
You're in your stripes, and then later on, of course, now with Chef Fabio, we've been learning fine dining Italian, which is something that I can say, what now, I worked California, all these different types of cuisines. I've been well versed in my career, and can put different aspects into each dish. And sometimes you might have a little accent here, a little accent there, but it's your
memory.
Own. Yeah.
And just to wrap this part up, it's you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been, kind of a thing, right? So you're going to be stronger for having that. So when someone comes and they have that pedigree, it's important.
Correct.
It's important.
And it's important that
it's not about showing off. It's about having that base.
Yes, and you study it. Just now, I even tell my son, you have information right in front of your hands. Back in the days, you used to have to figure out where you go to the library, get a book over there,
photocopy the important chapters.
it. Correct. And then you're like, now it's like, hey, you go in here, and then you can go into a website or go into YouTube or
What do your
Instagram.
kids think about what you do?
Well, they love it. They love what they see. That, of course, timing is something that I wish to give them more time. But at the end of the day, they understand it. They've seen it since they were babies. That I've been busting my butt for to be better and better. And the goal is to hopefully be one of the best of Miami. And hopefully my goal is for. Hopefully one day there's cooks that they can go into find another job, or they just by working with me they can open up new bridges or
right,
new
that you made an
opportunities.
impact in someone else's life, and they could
Yes.
see you as the mentor.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
What is your favorite part of what you do, and what do you enjoy the most? What are you most proud of?
I love cooking, of course. That's why I do it. But now it's mentoring. Now I love talking to young cooks and hey, listen, you know what? You got to do it like this. You have to do it like that. Or you really need to start focusing on what you want to do, And sometimes, there's people that they've been with me for 10 years, 6 years. Actually, I have some guys with me for almost 12 years. And sometimes, you just have to, like, mentor them and show them there's another path. Sometimes they learn everything from you, which they haven't, but they learn that as much as possible, and then of course they just this path that you should go, or do this, even life or personal stuff that I can help them out with something. But I say that as a chef you have multiple hats. And that the psychological part, is very important to sometimes, people to have someone that they can listen to them. And then sometimes I listen, too much and I become, someone's psychologist or something like that. But we're here for that. We're here for people, and without people, without the cooks or it's the people. It's the people that make your day. It's the people that you wanna do this, and you wanna make sure that that you can, put the little stick to the lemon tree, so they can grow right.
Let's finish your journey in Miami. You said bourbon steak and then BLT.
Yes. So bourbon
then
steak,
Schwartz.
then BLT steak, then Schwartz.
Then back to
Back
Betsy
to
is
the
the
Betsy,
same, right? Betsy.
yes.
And then Little Palm Island just
So Little
happened.
Palm Island, it was. So I wasn't looking to leave the Betsy. I don't know where it's just got through LinkedIn. Someone sent me a message. Hey, we're looking for someone for Little Palm Island, and at that time this was 2019, November 2019, that we started conversations with Chef Adam Volta, and he's the corporate chef for Noble House. Super well informed chef, knows great food. He has to actually he worked with some spectacular restaurants in London, and I know there were a lot of chefs applying for that position for Little Palm. Little Palm is the only private island in the United States, really, and Chateau. So that was my goal. One day, work at a establishment like that, which was, you can say, most beautiful hotels in the United States. And then when I did my tasting, chefs like, listen, home run, every dish. And I like to do pastries too, and so I also did my dessert and the whole thing, and then we started talking. This restaurant has to have the ability to be a 50 best. Has to have, if Michelin was here in Miami or in Florida, has to have a star. So that was a
I've
conversation.
always thought about that because I feel I've only been twice for dinner, and I've always felt it has that potential. Everything about it, the service, but the food is the times I went. I don't think you were.
No,
I
was there.
It was way before 2019.
Yeah, so I started there 2020.
Ooh, yay!
So my last day.
What could go wrong?
Imagine that. I was already
March
going on my days off to the Keys to organize everything and to look at plates, look at everything, and it was just enchanting. The whole experience of you going between the
little boat
the little
that takes you there
boat,
from the island, yeah.
I just fell in love with it. Spectacular.
Did it bring you up late, right? So how late would you get there?
So over there, when you get out from
pitch black.
Pitch black, and you go in the little boat, and you're like,
and it's a little.
oh man, this is how this is the stories that that you get. you don't make it back, but then it was pitch black.
Right, because it could be. First of all, you need to leave.
Yeah.
You have to leave.
You have to leave. There's nowhere that you can
and
stay in there.
And if there's a storm.
There's.
That little boat's
the
rocking.
And I'm not the biggest fan of
I know.
Pretty dizzy really
No, me
quick.
neither. But so would it be? Did you ever have to stay longer? No, never.
There was
You always
one
made it out.
time that I might have stayed. There was a hurricane coming, but it was and then someone else stayed. But then because of the hurricane also, Irma destroyed Little Palm Island.
Yes. They closed for several years.
So they redid it, and 2020 was a reopening, and then the kitchen, state-of-the-art kitchen, chef's table, and Chef Adam's like, listen, it's all about making sure that you have the best product. You can do that, you can create something spectacular. And then the beauty of it is that because you have so many guests that are staying there, you have to change your menu very often. So you change the menu very often, and then it's something that I just set myself into a little corner in the kitchen every single day, doing something new.
Right.
And recording.
Tweak it.
All new recipes, going for it. Then of course, then we start hearing, hey, you know what, Little Palm also, you feel like there's no news, there's just another world.
Very disconnected.
So we start hearing, hey, you know what,
no TV.
there's something, there's no TV, there's none of that stuff.
The room has a really funny antique phone.
Well, yeah, but now
does it even work? I never picked it up.
Now it's those rooms, they're beautiful. So we were like, we start talking, hey, there's something going on, I think, we need to close down for 2 weeks.
Everybody, 2 weeks.
We were like, hey, okay, and then got some conversations with Kirkland. Just gonna be 2 weeks. We decided to, give away some of the food and everything like that. And hey, guys, see you 2 more weeks.
Bye.
June came in.
Se jodió la cosa.
March 23rd, which is actually my first day off in like months. And then March 23rd was like, was that day that, like, hey, that's it, gone. And for us, it just stayed in. And beauty was we were back and forth because I had my residence card, you can say, for the keys, and then we were here in Miami, so we're back and forth the whole time, which is a blessing. And then but Little Torch, Big Pine, it's it's a small community. But then June came in, went back, and it was just another world because the entire world was just shut down, but we were open. We were open. There's no other place in the world that you can literally feel like distant from other people, because you have your rooms. There's 30 rooms.
Right, everything's spread out. You have outdoor dining.
Super spread out, outdoor dining.
Yeah,
it was just perfect. So we were doing dishes, and I was just pushing, and then some of the guests, they kept on saying, your food over here is like one of the best in the entire world. They compared it to some really spectacular 3 stars in Europe, and I don't listen. I'm very humble, so I don't listen to that. But people are like, listen, I'm serious. This is like 2-star level, chef's table. People were like, this is like nuts. And of course the family was here in Miami, so the back and forward, also that it was hard for me, especially with with the kids. It was a lot. And then, but the beauty of Little Palm Island, it was like, it gave me the confidence that actually, hey, I don't have to be, the executive chef for another, I'm not saying for, I can be my own executive chef.
Mm-hmm.
I can be my own executive chef.
Right, make daily decisions.
I can make that
recipes, whatever.
Recipes
the
and
creative
the
process,
food has, is mine. And that's what Little Palm Island showed me, that this is, I can put my stamp into something. It's not that I have to go through here and there and put the stamp.
That's one of the Michelin criteria. But we'll talk about that soon.
And then, of course, then through pandemic, I met Chef Fabio, because Chef Fabio needed a corporate chef for Washington, D.C. And then it got harder and tougher, so that didn't happen. And then later on, 2021, he actually called me. He's like, hey, listen, I'm actually looking for an executive chef in Miami. I'm like, oh.
Bingo.
That's me.
Right.
And of course, Fiola has a star in D.C., so I was like, you know what? This will be spectacular. Getting, and of course, donde cuando el río suena, piedras trae.
Mm-hmm.
Michelin, everybody was talking. Well, not everybody, but there was people like you that were talking. One day, Michelin's gonna come in.
Michelin never.
No, the Michelin's
I never talk about Michelin.
It might be something that's for real. It might come in, and it was just I was like, you know what? That's the place.
I think I met you like almost like right in the beginning when you had just started. Like within weeks, I think.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, correct.
Because we dined outside.
That's right.
It was still so COVID-ish.
Right. Yeah.
That we still didn't feel comfortable inside, and we dined outside in front of a fan. And I brought my own fan. I remember.
It was nuts. We had the outside seating, which is
and the big tent. I never sat in the tent, but I did the corridor, the covered area. Yeah, but you had some big fans outside. I was like, yes, I want to sit next to that.
Yes. Nah, it was good. It was very good. And then of course, got the little by little, of course, Chef Fabio and Tom, they started trusting me a little bit more and more and more. And then of course they got to see some of the things that I can do, and it's all about trust. So little by little, started putting some of my that food,
personality.
the personality into the food, and Chef Fabio.
It's true because I've experienced it more and more.
Yeah, little by little, just recently it's just about consistency, so that's why we haven't changed the menu that much. It's been a couple of months already, but it's all about what we always say. Michelin is all about consistency. So
let's talk about the Michelin Guide. To absolutely no one's surprise, I was livid last year when the guide did not include Fiola in its nominations. And if you didn't hear me complain about it, I don't know where you were. I felt and feel that you deserved it then and deserve it now. How are you feeling last year about this? And now, how are you feeling now about the upcoming awards? It's a loaded question.
It's, when the announcement was made that they were coming, that was November. So
it was actually in June when I announced it.
Yes,
unofficially.
Unofficially,
okay.
correct. So and I was saying,
I feel like I gave everyone a heads up.
Yeah.
And those who didn't hear it weren't prepared and were shocked in November. But I feel like a lot of chefs did take note.
I took notes and we were ready to rock and roll.
In case this girl happens to be right, let's just perk up a little bit.
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's when you said it, it's coming, and then I had that knowledge also that it was coming when, I don't know, but then I was just talk about Michelin, years before, no, actually, the 2020 Food and Wine Festival, I was talking to Chef Christophe Blanca and Chef Laurent. We were just talking in the Best of the Best. I was doing it for the Betsy, and Chef Christophe was for Robuchon. They started talking to someone. And then that lady comes over. It's like, throughout the Best of Best, like, I'm from Michelin. We'll see you soon. And then I was like, oh shoot. And then Chef Chris was like, listen, Robuchon is opening over here.
Yeah.
Michelin's gonna come.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, you know what? This is it's coming. So of course it's someone's dream to get a Michelin star. Push for that. It's just a different type of race. I'm a big sports fan. I play rugby, baseball, soccer, tennis, and when you start, thinking of going to the championship, it's nuts. You're like, hey, you know what? There might be a chance.
Mm-hmm.
So when, of course, we were already pushing for it, trying to get, but we had workforce wise, we were down on people. We didn't have people. We were so understaffed. Everybody was tired. So there's no excuse. I'm a guy that's no excuse at all. But when we heard about it, that it was coming, in November, we switched menus. We went into knocking it out of the park. Then so November, we're pushing, and of course, didn't hear anything, but we were just pushing, thinking that any day can come in. Then of course, within the community, the chef community, we started talking. I think this was like a May Memorial Day weekend, May, around that time, they started, hey, chef, you got the card, you got a letter, you got a letter.
Right.
I'm like, dude, nothing.
Right. It became a whole thing of like, who got an email? Who got an email? Did you get the email? Because everything was so new, and no one really knew like the process unless you had someone like Fabio who's been familiar with the process, or someone who knows another chef in another city, and they're like, this is how we do it. You get an email, you get this, the process, the order.
And the process changed completely.
Yeah, and I feel like it's going to keep changing.
The process was, back in the days, it was you get a call.
Right.
There was no emails. You get a call.
Yes, and I don't know. Some it still happens like that in some places. They still know ahead of time.
Well, I don't know, because in France this year, they told the chefs that they lost it. They said it earlier. They had a conversation. We had meetings. I think that's pretty cool what they're doing with Michelin, mental health. It's
right, versus like inviting you there and then by the way, you lost.
Yeah, correct.
A star out of 3.
Correct.
Yikes.
Correct. You heard stories. Bernard Lusso, nuts. So for me, it was like, hey, we have a chance until June, until the day. You know what? Maybe we're gonna get a call or something like that. It's a surprise. You guys got it. And then of course there's that day. That's it. I was. You can talk to Anita. I was devastated. It was tough. And the team was sad. The team was the entire team over here was like, what? Like, what the heck? We should have gotten it. We pushed all together. We needed to. It should have been us. But I'm like, listen.
It should have been you.
It was.
And don't know if you remember that I went to the ceremony, came back, drove back from Orlando, got home, changed, and we went to Fiola. We had to be there to support you guys because I was like, no, like I was like mad I was so mad.
No, it was something that, even that day, the day of and I still have the letter. One of our guests, he's actually we saw him last night, and he did a deep letter to us. It's like, listen, you guys are you guys deserve it, but just look up,
I mean, of course, there's nowhere to go but up.
Correct.
Right.
So he was just by having that type of letter or message from one of the guests, that was very moving. And I think everybody, we read it in our pre-show, and people were sad and crying and the whole thing. Next day, what I said, what, screw this, we're doing a couple brand new dishes. Let's get everybody excited.
It's on.
Let's get it. Let's get some new dishes in. Boom, boom, boom. I was already okay. Let's do it. That was the next day. Let's do some new dishes. Did like 4 new dishes, and just people were tasting. Or like, oh shoot, this is good. This is good. This is good. This is good. And it was just and everybody was sad again. Yeah, and but now it's okay. We fell. We didn't get it. How do we do it? How we can just get better?
Right, because that's June, so you have all these emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And then July comes, and then August comes. You still have to work toward it all year. So it's not, and
correct.
To know that the year, so 2021,
mm-hmm.
right? So they were in the it was the summer that they were allegedly here, which means that immediately off that
mm-hmm.
awards, when everyone maybe left their guard a little down, like, oh, we got a star, let's take a break. Well, that's when they were here again.
Actually, that's right. So for us, it was like, you know what?
Allegedly.
We had you can get your not like a grading sheet, but you can have like a conversation, or you can get the report,
right?
And actually that just by the dishes that they had, they came in doing Miami Spice,
right?
So of course the Miami Spice,
right? That is not a tasting menu.
That's a rough time for anybody to come in. As a local, you're gonna have and I think Miami Spice is something that you're honoring the locals. You're honoring the people that.
But to me, that's on them.
Correct.
Right, as an organization, whoever recommended that or whoever, I don't know, but that's kind of like on them.
But
you have to know what Miami Spice means to a city.
Correct.
Not that you decided to call your menu Miami Spice.
Correct.
It's just kind of weird.
But you know, that's the whole thing that that happened, and then okay, you know what? Let's just get better. We need to get better. You know, we all pulled together. We all spoke. Chef Fabio, everybody.
Plus, we also talked when you and I spoke about consistency, and because it is not like DC, right? So the covers that you're doing at Fiola, it's not the same covers that you're doing at DC.
Correct. So here in Miami,
so to be consistent, lunch and brunch and dinner.
Correct. You know, that's something that brunch, lunch, dinner. It's we're a high volume restaurant, but we push to be we're a fine dining restaurant, high volume. That is very hard to get a star or any type of recognition to be, because it's consistency. When you're doing 300 covers a night, and listen, it was Miami Spice, and we should have been consistent, and that's the only thing that I can say. And at the end of the day, yes, we didn't have people, we didn't have a workforce. It is what it is. But you know what? We should have been better.
And at the end of the day, yes.
At the end of the day, we should have been better.
Right.
We shouldn't have happened. Nothing should have happened. We should have been consistent. So our goal was, you know what? This year, July, boom, took the spectacular trip to Italy, but then and then went to 7 3-stars and everything. Of course, came back,
research and development.
Yes, spectacular. But then I was like, you know what?
And a mental break.
Nuts. We went nuts. We want to make sure that, you know what, Miami Spice has to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect.
All of a sudden, you have like an 8-course Miami Spice. No.
No, yes.
I'm kidding.
Correct. So
this is going to be the best Miami Spice menu ever.
And we created the Pasta Omakase.
All right.
Pasta Omakase was our tasting menu, and
Can you bring back the shells? The cacio pepe shells.
Oh, you like the cacio pepe shell?
No, I love it.
Yeah.
It's so good. Okay.
Actually, we have that whenever you want to. Just ask for the shells.
Okay.
We always have
you
those
heard
shells
it here,
for
people.
kids.
I'm gonna ask for it. I love that.
It's those
so
shells
good.
are delicious.
Yeah.
And then, but we went a little bit more with spaghetti. That's what people, they love spaghetti and with the cacio pepe. But it was all about making sure that every single thing that we do, it might be simple, might be a little more complex, but perfect and consistent. So the guys took it to heart, and some people left from the team, so we had to redo some of the structure the team differently, and it's your ups and downs from any
restaurant that happens.
Any restaurant. But then I think we came back stronger. Yeah. So last year was on every single pre-shift there was like Michelin, and this year my thought process was, you know what? If we can't get people, every single guest, to be wowed about what we do, then we're failing. Right away we're gonna fail. Because you know what? We can make people happy. And yes, it's a great thing. But also you can make people happy in other concepts. You can make people happy. Hey, go to Chili's and it's my birthday and then
Taco Bell makes people happy.
Taco Bell makes people happy. My son likes
I like Taco Bell. Believe it or not.
Taco Bell, has some cool stuff.
2 a.m. It's the best. Not that I'm awake at 2 a.m. anymore.
No? Are you sure?
At 2 a.m.? Those days are gone.
But they have different experiences. Like there's plenty of things that make people happy. So let's wow people. Let's get this. Let's go that extra step of wowing people. What a true, beautiful service, spectacular ways to amaze people. The food has to be, wow, this is the best steak. This is the best pasta. This is the best salad. This is the best pastry, dessert. It just has to be that way. And then people started embracing that. The guys, the cooks, the pre-shift for the kitchen, we just have to be very militant. The runners, the captains, the servers, the managers, the chefs, everybody has to be invested into this and just wowing people, because that was the main thing that, I think that's where we messed up. We did not wow every single guest. And has that mindset made us better? Yes. Now, should we get a Michelin star this year?
Yes.
I believe so. But it's always, and again, inspectors are ninjas. Inspectors are someone that is they do their job spectacularly well because they're like CIA agents. But and then you will never see which one it is. So if you start trying to, which also we tried, of course,
right,
you see
that
the
person
Burnt.
seems
That person is right there, that's a mission inspector.
And you don't even know now because everyone takes pictures.
Correct.
Right, everyone. I mean, not everyone takes notes, but you
then,
see people on their phones at all times anyway.
You're like, they have the phone under the table. They're writing this. I see they're writing. You're like, no, you know what? Screw that. Forget that.
Yeah.
That
could drive
every single
insane.
guest has to be treated like a mission inspector, and it's just all about that. It's just making sure that every guest is wowed. We should be good.
But also as a restaurant too, the restaurants that choose to see Michelin as a motivator versus like a peeve, like if they're not interested, but it's made you better.
Yes.
Regardless of star or not, obviously you deserve it and you should get it and you probably get it. But it actually made you pause and be like, hey, why not us?
Correct. It's something that, there's people that, you know what, we didn't get it, and you just continue crying on the floor, and then you don't get up from that rut. And for us, it just made us stronger. And that was the goal, making you stronger. And yes, we do 300 covers. We do.
Right.
At the end of the day, and I say it to everybody, at the end of the day, it's a business. The restaurant is a business. You still need to pay livelihoods. You still need to pay rent. You still need to pay utilities, and you still need to pay all your purveyors, farmers, everybody. They need to get paid. So it's something that how we can do 300 covers, spectacular. It's just a little bit more intense, a little bit tougher.
Any plans to offer in the future a tasting menu table, a chef's table, or something more?
You gotta find the right
specialized
space over here in the restaurant. We have the
wine room would be great.
Wine room is spectacular. That wine room, sometimes for me, you go in there and it's just, you see the wines and everything.
That's beautiful. I think the best location for it. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But it's we had the pasta macase, we were mentioning, and it's a different experience. It's an experience of all of our handmade pastas, different types of pastas. We play with different flours, from rye, farro, oat, whole wheat, just regular beautiful white flour. But it's about that experience. Hey, the pasta omakase. Because when I went to Japan, I love omakases, and I think omakase is just such a cool experience. And I went to this restaurant called Umi Sushi, 2 Michelin, and they a fun service. Literally was a fun service. The guys, shout over here, shout over there, but the food is just spectacular. And it's the servers, the captains, they're all the chefs. They don't have
anyone running, serving, yeah.
So, one nigiri here, a nigiri there, a nigiri there.
Oof,
boom, boom, boom. So that was my thought, this pasta macase is just one pasta here, one pasta there. You're not gonna be like overwhelmed or like stuffed to that you're gonna explode because of the amount of pasta that you ate.
Right.
It's not like
it's a tasting.
It's a tasting.
Right.
It's a beautiful tasting, beautiful pasta, handmade, that takes a long time to make. It's we don't shake the box and just go at it.
No craft.
No craft. And spectacular cheeses, meats, everything that goes into it. And now we're in the verge of switching the pasta macase again.
I still haven't done the pasta omakase, believe it or not.
Well,
Well,
right
because
now-
every time we over order, so we're doing our own omakase.
Well, right now you have tasted all those pastas. So
yeah.
You know, the strawberry lasagna. You know, we put some unagi in there, and people were going crazy about that one. I think it's time to retire that pasta. Cairo carbonara is just still a fan favorite. Truffle guitarras already in the regular menu. Venison ravioli, we did it. Lobster ravioli, same thing, is already on the menu. So we're gonna do some cool stuff now. There's a lot of research that goes into every single thing, and then it's kind of like a race. You ever seen Cars 3? You know, where they, you gotta find the space where you're gonna go into it so you can pass the next car. So that's kind of like always how we do things over here, because 300 covers.
It's a lot.
250, 300, and then it can get hectic, and it's and especially that when we're trying to do consistency, and it's all about that. If you can have that consistent, delicious ingredients and food and experience, I think you should be on the right path.
So Bon Appetit just named us the best food city of the year in their April issue. How do you think Miami's doing as a food town overall now? What are our strengths and weaknesses from your perspective?
I came back to the States in 2007 and started working out with Michael Mina. And again, I'm not saying I think I said earlier that Michael Mina was like the first like fine dining, but no, you had Norman's also in Coral Gables, a couple of the restaurants there too. Chef Alan Susser, the spectacular chefs also before Michael Mina opened Bourbon Steak. But I believe that Bourbon Steak, even though it was a steakhouse, it was like the first one with like service was like top notch, and that was one of the things that when I go to Panama, it's like a 10 years behind on service and sometimes food, but I have some good friends over there in Panama, like Mario Castrellon, that's doing spectacular. But it's the service, how it has changed from 2007, then it went down to 2009. BLT open, another stepping stone into the whole, New York restaurant era, where they're bringing in the training. That's what started, that whole, people say, all these New Yorkers and everything like that, they come in over here. But you know what? You get to learn something new that people weren't accustomed to. All these restaurants, what they did is made everybody better. And now it's upon us, Miami talent, to make this a spectacular town like it's becoming. You have Nando and Valerie, which are they're pushing boundaries on what they're doing. Zach was like the baker, he's the more baker. He started the beautiful bakeries, and now spectacular bakeries, like True Loaf in the beach, for me, is one of my favorites, and also Madruga here in the Gables. So I think of course he started the whole bakery here, the bakeries over here in Miami, but now that talent that has also been very influential into other people, and now you ever been to Madruga?
Not yet.
You should go. It's right around here.
I always come here at night.
Spectacular.
I always come to Coral Gables at night.
Spectacular.
It's a drive.
Spectacular. Like nuts. And then True Loaf, spectacular too. But for me, True Loaf is in the beach, so I used to go a lot more True Loaf when I was at the Betsy. Now I just tend to go a little bit more to Madruga. But, and again, it's that constant. When I say to all my chefs, this is what you gotta do. There's a constant, gentle pressure on every single thing that you do. All the guys, all the cooks, all day long, constant, gentle pressure. How you can get them better, how you make them better by not being a tyrant. Listen, I grew up in that system, and it didn't make sense as a human being, you know. But how you can get to that and giving it to the new wave of cooks is just having the constant gentle pressure, positive, and yes, of course they know when it's time, and they will never be personal. But this is what all these guys are doing with the scene. It's been a constant
Are you
gentle
saying
pressure.
our strength is maybe our newness happens to be a strength?
Yeah.
Because of the eagerness and the willingness to try and.
Yes. I think also the scene the palettes of the Miami guest, you can say, or
Diners.
the
Guys,
yes, the Miami
clientele.
diners, the Miami clientele has changed. You know, before it was just if you didn't have Puerto Rican, then what the heck you were doing. now now
Chicken
people,
on the
yeah. Now it's all about, they know what they want. People know that what's good and what's bad, and people, of course, you see, like we were saying before, the information is in front of you. People now have seen Chef's Table a couple of times already. They've seen Dan Barber talking in Chef's Table, and Massimo Bottura, Sean Brock. They see what other cities are, and then people are traveling more too. They're expanding their horizons, and they can come to back home and also demand some spectacular food. And there's some really great chefs like Pablo from Sitsum, Michael from Beltran, Georgie Ramos. These guys they're pushing, to make it, the guests number one, and showing them what they do. You have, Aquino, Rosie's, Aaron Brooks has been doing it. We've been doing it for a good amount of time. For here in Miami, and it's something that it's we're going the right way. We're going the right way, and then hopefully we can just see more local talent around the area, more openings of local talent, and then people also supporting that local talent too. It's like New York. There's a new restaurant, then people go there. Not that. Listen, I go for Michelin star restaurants all the time, but when there's something cool, there's a buzz, and you gotta go and check it out for sure. It's something that pushes the industry in that certain city. That's why also LA, San Francisco is so big on local talent, and you don't see New York chefs going to California unless you're David Chang or something like that. You don't see, recently just a couple here and there because of COVID and stuff like that, but you don't see people going to New York or Chicago.
Right, invade their space, right?
This is my space. Chicago, right. Chicago's another one that that you got a New York chef over there, yeah, ain't gonna happen over there.
Yeah.
Chicago's very territorial on that end. And I think we need to be like that here, man.
I agree.
It's very, very important that we can start pushing that end. That we need to be territorial on our chefs. And then it's our local talent, and it started with the beach. And I think, and again, it was great that it happened because
it was a stepping stone.
Yes, it was a great stepping stone. It brought in the talent like Danielle, Laurent. But now the beach, you've seen what the beach is going on right now, but the beach has to be a point like, hey, you know what? These hotels, they should be showcasing what is done in Miami, not, what's done in New York or let's open up, something that's from a local talent or something new, something like that. But
it's gonna be a tough sell.
Oh yeah.
Oof.
But right now everything is closed. You have Delano closed, Raleigh closed. What else? The Tides closed, and then so I think this is a time that you can set that gear to motion, and I know it'll take some time, especially now. How's everything over there?
That's one of the first things I ask. I just went to Queen, Miami.
Yes.
One of those clubby places.
Mm-hmm.
And when they came to the table, I said, "Who's running the kitchen? Who's in there?"
Mm-hmm.
So then they actually said a bunch of we remember we talked about this.
Yeah.
And they started naming local talent.
Yeah.
And I was so pleased to hear that.
Yeah.
And that she knew that she didn't have to go back and check, or she just knew.
Correct.
The names. I was like, oh, okay, I could support this.
Correct, and that's the beauty of it. You have some really good guys, that have been growing through the ranks. At Queen, I have a really great relationship with one of the chefs over there. He actually worked with me for many years, and he knows. He knows how to do things, and he grew through the ranks, and now he's his own chef, and
it's a
great.
unique concept too. So it's not like they brought it from no sé dónde. Like,
correct.
It's because of where it is, and it was the Opera House, and it's actually. I feel like our even those kind of restaurants are actually stepping up now. Before it was more about bottles.
Yes.
And
yes.
I always say sparklers, but it's beyond that now. It's not that anymore.
And that's
you still have those.
Yeah, you're still gonna have those, and it's Miami's Miami.
You're gonna have those places, but we are getting different level club restaurants now, where they're actually a place where you go and see a show or some kind of performative. Like there was nothing. Actually, I left by 10 and there was nothing happening other than like a little bit of a DJ background music, but there was no craziness. It was actually very classy, very chic. The food was actually pretty good. I was shocked.
Nice.
Is it something I'm going to like run back to? Maybe for like a celebration or something fun. But out of all of them, I would support that too. Yeah. I'm not going to not go.
No, for sure.
It's very well done. The remodeling they did. It was
I see the pictures. It looks beautiful.
Spectacular. If I show you that and I tell you where is that, you would say Vegas. Yeah. You would never say that's in Miami.
Yeah, it's
just the magnitude of that space and the amount of detail and funds that went into that. Wow.
That's a beauty. Woo. That's something that yes, that's what we should be striving for. Here in Miami, get those guys out and push them.
Right, keep it local. So you're coming to Miami.
Yes.
Don't snuff the local talent out.
Correct.
You don't have to. So bring them in.
Correct.
And then they can maybe add a touch of Miami to the menu, or they know what works in Miami.
Correct.
So it's smart on their end, I think. What so weaknesses that we're still working on as a town?
Like you said, as Miami is, we still have. Our weaknesses is that we don't have. Yes, you have Norman, but now he's reopening in Orlando.
Yeah.
But we don't have that the culture of the
history.
The history, correct.
Lengthy history.
Correct. Like we're talking about, France, and then Italy and Spain. You don't have those.
Hundreds and hundreds of years.
Hundreds of cooks that that they come through the ranks from Robuchon, Ducasse.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have a whole different arpège in France. Spectacular. When I went over there,
I think we're getting a Ducasse here too.
I got
even he's coming to Miami.
I got
yeah, or so we hear. So I've heard. I don't know about you.
Yes. But that was But again, it's one of those things that right now there's guys that are cementing that path. There's guys that are cementing that path, that the pedigree.
For sure, 50 years from now.
Yes.
We are getting new names that are going to be those mentors that they talk about.
Correct.
If we're not underwater.
I
found a cookbook underwater.
No, that's
a terrible joke.
No, listen, we gotta figure it out. I own a house over here, so
guess who's not coming to the beach?
Yeah, listen, you called Michelin, now you're calling us. So, So yeah, that's the thing, and I think that's where I've been very blessed to mentor many young cooks to become young chefs, and you can see them in some of them in some of the restaurants that are opening right now. Um, so hopefully one day my name can be you know talked about because this people this person came from here from here, and it's a family tree that needs to be built over here, and little by little it's just it's getting to that point. I know we have our branch from Norman, Alan Susser. I know we had the Robin Hass, so it's had to, he passed away. Then later on, after you have Chef Michelle Bernstein, Michael Schwartz. Now, who's on that next generation? You can say that next generation that really like pushed boundaries on the on this scene, on the culinary scene, and then this market, make it proud.
To round out the Michelin conversation, who else are you rooting for? Is there any underdog, someone that you think has been overlooked that should get a star?
Well, Chef Kevin at Naue for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I agree. That's my other rant.
That's a biggie. That's actually for me years and years ago. Me and my wife who said it. If Michelin was here, now it will be the only
like the
one
number one shoe-in
for sure.
For Michelin, I
for
think.
For sure. You can say, a couple bibs here and there, like Avale in Miami Beach. But, it's still a growing town, and talent needs to continue, to push for consistency. That's the main thing. Because sometimes, I've gone to some really cool restaurants that I had a spectacular meal, and then I go back and it's like, oof.
Yeah.
Oof. And I think, like
I
I said, consistency is key for everything. And I know it's not when you're treating or when you're cooking with product that's spectacular. Still it's just because a steak or a live animal or something like that. There's gonna be some inconsistencies, but you need to minimize it, and that's what you need to do.
When dining out yourself, do you have any pet peeves? What's something that drives you crazy in a restaurant?
So
we don't have that much time, but
my thing
your
is
main.
I need to get my mindset out of the whole
Chefiness.
Needing a chef because I won't enjoy the dinner. So, that's why I love going to Michelin star restaurants, because I know, I'm gonna see something new, gonna enjoy something that that's new and spectacular. And again, consistency is key. But also, one of the things that I see a lot in Miami is that pushing, hey,
right.
Oh, you gotta order it like this way, or you gotta order like another 5-10 more dishes to have the experience, and you're like, dude, I just want to have a meal.
Right.
You can give me the recommendations, which is great,
mm-hmm.
but then you're like, oh no, you gotta have 5 small plates and another 3 large dishes, so you can have the experience. And I'm like, I can go back later, or
right, or order.
Yes. Yes.
I hate when I ask and then they read me the whole menu. I'm like, I can read.
Mm-hmm.
Don't read me the menu. I can read.
That's please. The thing. And it's like, they just... And I've seen some places in New York and stuff like that, but, it's just, I love when someone says, hey, listen, you know what? Actually, you're ordering too much.
Yes. I always say, do you think that's enough? I always say, but, 9 out of 10 times when I ask... I'm in between, the pork or whatever, the venison. Mm-hmm. I always look. They always tell me to order the most expensive one.
That's another thing.
100%. I'm thinking 9 out of 10 every single time. I already know what their answer is going to be.
Yeah.
When it's rare when they're like, and when they give me a reason why, I appreciate it.
Correct.
This might be too heavy since you're ordering so many dishes. Perhaps you prefer this because it's on the lighter side, or it's not as big, or and ultimately sometimes we're like, we'll just take it home. But I like a reason, not just like blanket statement. Oh, that one's $47 and the other one's $27. Oh, for sure you want the $47.
Correct, and that's one of the things also. Like people they go like, oh, what you recommend?
That
Boom.
one.
Give me the one.
You should do caviar service too.
And like people that want caviar, they already know that they want, so you don't need to like get in the whole spiel and everything. For me, I'm gonna go to a restaurant, and you tell me the most expensive item, and I already know like no, you gotta try that one. I'm like no, give me the other one.
But it just makes it a little shady.
Yeah.
Maybe they're saying the truth, but sometimes it's a little shady. Everything comes out family style. It's my favorite. It just comes out. What's the term? A la minute?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, of course. Will you course it out? Yes. And then I get my entree first. Yes, this is awesome.
It happens. It happens a lot. And you're like, really? Like, I'm not even ready for that one?
Yeah, we drive so far, too, on a Saturday night. I don't want dinner in like an hour. But it's frustrating. So what do you even like to eat on a regular basis?
I love to eat, for me, something that can, like, stimulate the palate. I love Indian food. He does a spectacular job. But I also go to a couple other Indian restaurants. Urban Rasoi is sometimes it's very, very, very good, and that's the consistency issues. And then, but most of the time they're very good. I love to go to Con Chao for some dim sum. Con Chao is the best. People may say tropical Chinese, but not Con Chao is.
I agree. Even though I barely know how to order there, but I always go with someone else who knows how to order.
Yeah, Con Chao is like.
Cheat.
Yeah, you go in there.
I have no
like,
idea. I'm like,
you know what you gotta go for. Just give me everything.
That too.
Lamar does a spectacular job too.
They're doing so good right now. I mean, I've always loved them, but
yeah, Diego's been doing a really, really good job.
This last menu that I had, like maybe not even a month ago, very, very good.
My favorite New York transfer is Colt.
Yes, same.
David is.
That would probably be my only New York transfer.
Colt is always consistent. It's delicious. Flavors always like boom, popping. I wish I could go more to Bourbon, but it's a little bit farther away from my house. So I actually live close to where I grew up, Burden 162nd, but then my other favorite restaurant right now is the Gibson. Mm-hmm. The Gibson, Michael is doing a spectacular job.
Such a great job, right? Yeah. So different.
Yeah, he's
not a bar.
Doing a really, really good job, and the food, is atrevido, you can say, which is good and it's fun. Now I gotta take my wife over there because been with a couple of friends. But then, I think there's a couple more openings opening very soon that seem very, very special. But I just again the local chefs, we just need to push a little bit more, and
You mean like import concepts that are opening?
Yeah. I know there's a couple more. Well, for what I hear, a couple more import concepts, like you said, Lucas, and then there's I know you have Bouchon. I'm excited for Bouchon to open.
You are. I'm not a fan.
Oh, you're not a fan?
I'm a fan of the bakery.
Yes.
Bakery.
The bakery was spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
I used to go to one in New York all the time.
I mean, I think it's underwhelming. Definitely.
Yeah.
Star-worthy? I don't know. Just because it's.
No, I don't think it's the star-worthy.
If it was owned by, Carlos Garcia, well, there is a Carlos Garcia, see, Alex Lopez, with stuff random like me, whatever. I don't think Bouchon would have a star, but that's just me.
Yeah, just, for me, just have a good meal or something like that. That's just. Yeah, I've never been to the one in I went to the French Laundry over there in Yountville, but
Well, it's different, yeah.
Yeah, but the one that people are mentioning a lot that's gonna open at one point. You know, I think everybody's waiting for that. You know, Fuchs. You know.
Oh, Fuchs! Yay!
Yeah,
Of course.
I think that was spectacular concept that he had, and the 11th Street pizza is delicious.
I still haven't had that. Again,
What?
because we only come down to Miami at night, and
Well, the one in the
I know, but then we eat a lot. It's not like I could then go there, and I mean, I guess I could go there, get pizza, and then bring it to go and have it the next day. But because we drive from Broward to dine, we always overorder, as you know. The last thing we need is then to drive there for pizza. So we're never. It just hasn't happened that we're down for a concert or anything yet. That could be like a natural after hours thing.
Yeah.
Not yet, and it looks spectacular.
Yeah. 11th Street pizza is very good, and then folks. I love the spices. I love the flavors of that.
And it's going to be significantly bigger from what it looks like.
No, I don't know. I know that he wants to open it and everything, but
No, the size.
Oh, yeah?
He's put some pictures of the construction. It looks bigger.
Oh yeah. Oh, cool.
Than the original little tiny place.
Gotta check it out. But that's gonna be a cool one. And then there's some Basque restaurants from Mexico, I think, and I hear Mexico is very good.
Don't know. I know there's a new one. I actually wanted to go this weekend, but they had no reservation. Zeru?
That one.
That one, okay.
That's
that
one.
one, okay.
That's
Mexican Basque?
Yes.
Mexican. Oh,
it's a Mexican concept. There's a concept in Mexico.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm thinking what?
Yeah. It's a Mexican. Okay. It's a concept in Mexico, and then.
So I wasn't originally when I first saw about it, I was, whatever. I just ignored it. But then someone I know went, and they sent me the picture of the menu, and then I really looked at the menu closely, and I said, this menu actually looks really good.
Yeah.
It's a very well, I thought, well-rounded menu with enough options on the larger side of the menu, but right away I saw things I wanted to order. I want this. So that made me say, okay, I want to go. And then I looked for this weekend. I'm like, okay, I guess it's too popular now because I couldn't get a reservation.
No, for sure.
I mean, I didn't plan it. I literally just said, where are we going? And
it was busy. That's the thing,
Unless I wanted to sit outside, which I didn't want.
Yeah, and I think the next one is for opening. I'm happy that El Sandwich is opening closer to my house. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's opening. I think in Coral Gables. So.
No sympathy from me because nothing opens in Broward. Well, I take it back. Something really big is opening in Broward.
Which one?
When the hospitality group from John Nebraska come.
Oh yeah, that's right.
At the Four Seasons.
That's right.
So that's game on.
Yeah.
That is going to change the Broward landscape.
For sure.
And hopefully that coincides with the Michelin Guide adding Broward and Palm Beach to the guide.
Is it
2024? Not this year, obviously.
Oh, it's not this year?
No, I don't know.
No.
I'm just guessing.
Oh.
Everything I say is guessing. Remember?
Yeah, I think West Palm should be added now. Broward.
Now? Oh, yeah. I would be surprised if they did.
Yeah, they should.
Without announcing it.
They don't need to announce it. They just get.
That's true. They don't need to do anything.
They just, hey,
yeah.
You guys are here.
Surprise!
Surprise!
Yeah, something's gonna change. A lot of things are gonna change.
West Palm has the talent to be in the guide. I think Broward. Well, Fort Lauderdale still.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah,
I just for whatever reason I thought they would add them together, but yeah, maybe they'll do Palm Beach first. Yeah. I think it'll be a natural progression to leave Broward last.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. I like living there, but I hate to say it. Dining wise.
Fort Lauderdale is still a long time.
Yes. Okay, so where in the world will Danny Ganem be in 2028? Goals, dreams, plans.
Plenty of goals. Plenty of dreams. Hopefully. And again, it's... I
2028.
This is 5 years from now, so... hopefully I can have something on my own one day. It'll be...
It's a natural progression, I think.
Yes. I turned 40 this year, so it's 80 the last year December. So, but turned 40, and I think I've worked with some really spectacular chefs.
You have.
And
I think you're doing a great job.
Little Palm, like I said, Little Palm showed me that I can do it, and it's time to show something in Miami. But I think right now Fiola, it's we're gonna continue pushing and striving to be the best, and then and the main thing again is wow people with everything that we do. There's a spectacular family in here, from Scott, the GM, Tom, Angelo, our owner, the chef Fabio Travolki, which is puts that beautiful touches and everything, and of course here every single cook,
Bishop,
the steward, Bishop,
he's
Daniel
he
Bishop
needs to get the award for Som of the Year.
Bishop is the best Som in Miami. It is what it is, and then Bishop.
Funny because I just came back from DC,
Mm-hmm.
and I met
Justin
at Fiola.
Yes.
And I was thinking he's DC's version of Daniel, because if only because he's, oh my God, he's so passionate. He just talk about the topic, and so knowledgeable, and just we loved it. He just kept coming to the table, and it was such a nice interaction, and such a nice part of dinner to be able to interact with him, which is how I feel here when Daniel comes to the table, and he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, Daniel is a beast, and Justin over there in DC, another beast. I think it's
I'm like,
we
could use you in Miami. Come, come down.
Yeah,
he's awesome. But no, Daniel deserves to. I would love for him to get that award.
Yes. Daniel is
just a suggestion, again, Michelin. Just a suggestion. If you're listening,
Daniel is a beast. By far. I know how people, they really talk about Bishop, and I think we've done a spectacular combination, 1-2 punch with the food.
But we've learned so much just talking to him, and his suggestions, and
yes,
and sharing, and it just, in the couple of years that we've been working with him, whenever we come to dinner, it's amazing.
One of the best taste buds in Miami.
I agree.
Bishop knows exactly what's in each dish and each wine.
He rattles it off like nothing, and then he has this poise and elegance about him. He just kind of walks around, but not snooty. He's just he's approachable still. I think.
Yes. That's a good thing.
Right.
He's approachable, and that's something that you don't get to see that much with. I think you get to see it in Europe. In Italy, that had some spectacular Soms, and they weren't snooty. They were just trying to make that experience spectacular.
Yeah. And what do you want listeners to know about you that I have not already covered, if there's anything?
Well, I think one of my passions, is photography. And I like photography because it's the same detail that we put in the food. I love to look into that detail of a photo, and look at that, the light and the darkness, and I love also black and white, the
contrast, the
angles,
angles,
everything,
the composition of a shot.
And sometimes some of the shots that out of that I take, the one that I thought that came out spectacular is actually the one that came out after the three more shots that I gave. That extra smile, or that extra expression from that person is just nuts.
So when you travel, what do you shoot? You literally travel with a real camera. What do you shoot with? Yes.
So I have I actually used to have 3 cameras now. So I actually done weddings and everything. So
what?
Yeah, now I don't have
so
time
much
anymore.
Pressure. Oh my God.
I don't have time anymore. But
I always said I would be a great wedding planner, and then just I think I would be great, except the whole part of the stress that the bridezilla will put me in.
It's nuts.
No, I'm not doing that.
It's nuts. I've seen some of that stuff. But I shoot with a Sony A7R4, and it's just I used to shoot with before just mirrorless. I started with like APS-C. Then later on I was like, hey, you know what? I really want to take some more pictures. So I got into the Sony A7 II. Then later on, A7R, A7R3, then the A9 II was spectacular because it's fast. So also like if I'm shooting weddings, I want like something that I'm just shooting and I gotta grab every single expression without any lag.
Yikes.
And even with the kids, something also with that I can shoot pictures of the kids, like just from a water balloon splashing on their face.
Right.
And I love taking those type of pictures too.
Candid shots. When was the last time you shot a wedding?
No, it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Now I don't have that. I just don't have time. But it's for me. If they say, "Hey, you want to shoot a wedding? Let's do it." But
wow,
that's
unexpected.
It's the only issue, and I've learned from some great. You have Felipe Cuevas and Anthony Nader and Manolo Doreste. Those three of them are masters of photography, and you can. Felipe Cuevas, known for each other for years. Anthony Nader, I think you've seen him in a couple of events here and there, and Manolo Oreste, he actually shot the wedding at my wedding, and now he's like the wedding photographer. And if I was getting married now, I wouldn't be able to afford him.
It's those prices are crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Manolo's like everybody wants Manolo, but. You see his photos and his Instagram right now, nuts. But the details, it's all about the details.
So shooting, details. So you like the candids? See, I would be more inclined to shoot architectural stuff. Is my jam.
No, I love that too. When I'm traveling,
right?
Boom, I love that. I love the grabbing the details, the shadows of the buildings, and then. And sometimes, I'm just shooting and I see two people just shouting at each other. Boom. Take a picture.
Yeah.
I see people protesting. Boom.
Right.
Take a picture.
Right.
Got some pictures, people at the park, or just the...
Right, it's just a cool shot.
The artist, that's just with a guitar and, with a hat, getting some coins out of it. Hey, if I can see a person just dropping the coin... right in that moment, boom, take a picture. That's cool.
That's definitely an art that I've been passionate about and just haven't kind of stopped.
Yeah.
And mainly the whole like dragging the camera around became like such a drag, and then for food, like if I'm traveling, I'm definitely not bringing that big camera into the
I used to take the big camera to the
even though
it's
perfectly normal now.
Yeah.
Like no one bats an eye anymore.
I used to do that before, but now with the lighting of the iPhone,
it's gotten
it's just way better. So.
Yeah, plus I'm not shooting the food professionally, like for sale anyway.
Correct.
But I used to bring the camera, the big camera, and then I said it's such a hassle because as a woman I had my purse and then I had the big camera and then it was just like really annoying. But I do love the art of just being on vacation and shooting and.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, those were the days.
For sure.
Well, Chef, thank you so much for coming on the podcast to chat with me. And for you, the listener, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Come visit my social media, mostly Instagram and Twitter, where I post daily. And now also on the very controversial TikTok. Oops.
Wow.
I'm such a rebel. Your support is always appreciated. That's it for today. From my palette to yours. Cheers. Thank you, Chef. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay. It's a wrap.